You can't pay every bill this month, so which ones really matter? Why don't we have a look? Let's build a priorities budget that helps you take control even when the maths doesn't add up. We all have times in our lives when, for whatever reason, we just don't have enough income coming in. Whether that be because somebody's recently lost a job, you're stuck on Centrelink payments because somebody's had an accident. I know when my husband had a car accident just after our daughter was born, we were living off welfare payments for a good year, struggling to make ends meet because he couldn't work while he was still recovering from his accident, and I couldn't work because I had both him and a newborn to look after. It happens to all of us. So this budget really looks at how to not make it worse and to keep your head above while you work on increasing your income and or finding a job, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you just need a stopgap. So that's what this priorities budget will actually do. When you think you're in a position where you feel like that you don't have enough money to pay all of the bills that you need to pay, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. The first is, how much money do you actually have? The second is, how often do you get paid? And the third thing I want you to ask yourself is, what are my big bills? And how often do they need to be paid? For example, rent and mortgage is often a big bill, and that's normally paid monthly. Now, you might not necessarily get paid monthly. You might get paid fortnightly, or you might get paid weekly, but you need to know how much that bill is so that you can then go and work out how many times you need to divide that payment by to work out how much you need to pay per your pay cycle. So if you are paying your rent monthly and you get paid fortnightly, you need to divide it by 2. If you are paying your rent monthly and you are getting paid weekly, you need to divide it by 4 and work out how much you need to pay each time you get paid to keep that payment. Let's go through some priorities in what order I want you to pay things when you don't have enough money to pay for everything. First and foremost, especially if you have kids or if you have a chronic health condition such as you are diabetic or you have heart disease, is you want to be paying for food and life-saving or life-extending medications first. So you want to be, I'm not talking about fancy food, I'm not talking about eating out, I'm talking about the bare basics of nutrition that you and your family need to survive. Insulin, if you are taking insulin, is a must. If you are taking medications that prevent things like strokes and heart attacks because you have heart disease, they are a must. That is priority number 1. Priority number 2 is transport. That might sound strange, but if you cannot get to work, you cannot earn more money. So even if you pay your bills, if you can't earn more next week and continue that payment, then you are never going to get out of this hole. The third thing is housing. Homelessness will make your situation worse. Whether that be rent or mortgage, you want to pay that payment next. Once you have your food and your life-saving medications and you've organised transport to work, the next thing you want to do is pay rent. If you've paid your quarter of your rent or your half of your rent or whatever it is based on what you worked out earlier, the next thing I want you to pay is any bills that are threatening disconnection. That is your electricity or gas. If they are threatening to cut you off, you pay them first. You may even be able to negotiate hardship payments with them and put you on a payment plan. Some of them, if you ring them and say, hey, I've lost my job, I can't pay you, they can put you on a hardship plan. They might even give you an extension on payments, but you need to pick up the phone. The fifth thing is any other utilities or bill payments that you have coming out. Once all of those are paid, you can look at the rest of your budget. If you don't have enough income to pay all of your bills, the priority that I want you to focus on is number 1, food and life-saving medications. 2, transport to get to work. 3, housing, your rent or your mortgage. And 4th, any bills, especially utilities, that they are threatening to cut off. After that, you can pay the rest of anything you've got left. You may not have any left. You may not even get that. Well, that's it, guys. Short and sweet video today. On another video, I will go through how I make my grocery budget. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week.